Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. This is Jack, your host for the Sunday Hangout for the Amazing Scale Modelers community groups, both on MeWe and Facebook. The Google Plus page is still open. It's going to be closing. And there was a little bit of talk on MeWe about the Hangouts coming to an end. But that's only just rumor. And I found even an article online that says it's just changing its name. The service will still be there, but it's changed its name. But this is being broadcasted through the YouTube platform. So I'm not so sure if Google is going to get rid of this particular feature. So everybody panicking about, Google Hangouts closing down in a year or two. Forget about it. It hasn't happened yet. So we're just preparing for Google Plus to be closing. And we have community builds to wrap up this year. That will be a wooden build, a naval build, as somebody told me to clarify. That will be nautical, naval, nautical, however you want to put it, and also real space. These are the builds that we're doing for the community. And we're coming to a close really quick this year. And between now and probably the first couple of weeks of January, I'll have some videos put together for the past year's community covers. That should be interesting as to what I'll come up with. But anyhow, today we're going to be talking about, I guess, the kits that we build and as to what we think about them. And also, if anyone here has ever done a garage kit, that would be something interesting to banter about. And without further ado, I'd like to begin everybody's introduction. And let's see, first we're going to go over to Top Chat. And of course, George is there. Hi, George. John Pohl is there too. Hi, John. Good to see that you both had come on early and started chatting away. And with the usual suspects that I have here, I'm going to start with Brian. So, Brian, you told me earlier you liked the 48-hour hangout, and you corrected me.
Yeah, 161. I think I was one of the few that was still popping in there Monday morning or whenever it actually ended.
That was Sunday evening, 61 and a half hours from what George tells me as to when it quit. So that's why we can't do anything. We can't build houses because we don't know how to measure. We don't know how to count. So if it doesn't come with a packet of instructions, I don't think we can build it. What do you think?
That's why there's blueprints.
That's true.
Good point.
Good answer.
Very good point.
So Brian, what's going on over there in Michigan?
And I probably about an hour ago, I posted the pictures of the Mobius Mark 7, the 172 scale. That's what I finished today. That's about it. Taking a break now.
I was just on Cult TV Man just today, and they have the Mobius made a pair of 72 scale Vipers and Cylon Raiders, and they're up for sale for $12 a kit. Ooh. I think that's what Buck is working on right now. When we get to him, we'll talk more about that. But the Cylon one that you've made, what scale is that?
All 3 sets of scale. I did the new Cylon Raider last year. I wish they'd make the old series Cylon Raider in that scale, but they only make the great big one. And then today's was the 172nd Mark 7, which was, I put that aside back in the summertime because I wanted to work on the 172nd planes. But I have all 3 sets of the 172nd ones completed now.
Mm-hmm. Well, 172nd, how long of a kit would that be?
It's not very big. It might be 4 inches long, all 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on for a second.
And then I look at her and I go, at least I don't fall going up.
All right,
Okay.
this one here is the. Oh, I'm sorry. Were you talking?
No, I wasn't. I was just waiting for you.
Oh, okay. This one here is the Mark II, obviously, 4.5 inches.
Oh wow.
Is that the 72 scale?
That's the 72nd.
Okay.
That's in the box. And the one I finished today was the Mark VII, which, if you look at my post, it's such a dark color. You can't see the weathering on it with the chocks. It looks like a dark gray camouflage. But all three of them are about the same size.
I think I got the Mark 7 here. Let's see. If
1/32 scale. Sorry. Hi guys, I'm here.
Yeah.
How are you? So here's the.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
scale.
Okay.
I'm sorry. That's these are the 72nd scale, is what you're saying.
Yep,
Ooh.
that's the same scale as the white one I just showed you.
Oh, okay.
That's the Mark 7. But it looks like it was such a dark paint that you can't really see. The only thing you can notice is that I actually took some dark gray and kind of wiped out some of the decals to make it look like they actually wore off during the aircraft's history.
Oh wow.
But if you look closely, you can see the difference in the shading. I used black pastel chalks, black, dark gray. I even used white on there, and the white really didn't show up. What worked best, using Tester's dull coat lacquer, the clear on it actually had more of an accent showing the panels than the weathering did.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know if I can't zoom in on this
Yeah.
to get that. It's a very, very cool pair of builds you got here. Very nice.
Thank you. I like the white ones better. The Mark II is my favorite because you can see the weathering on that more than you can on these two. But they were good. They were good size. Easy to store when you're done. And I think the 1/32 scale of all those on my hit list. I have the whole Battlestar Galactica on my hit list with all the photo arts that goes with them. So one by one, hopefully I'm going to be picking them off.
Yeah, the George is saying that he'd like to do some videos on some of his builds. That will be one of them. I think that's what he's saying. Yeah. So anything else going on, mister?
I start the Foos 48 and the Revell M1 Pro Car.
Okay.
I think he just froze up.
Oh.
Yeah, I've got a lot of lag over here.
I'm sorry, I'm looking something up right now.
I'm gonna cut out.
Okay, Jared.
I'm gonna switch over. Lag is
All right, very good, very good. And we'll see you back here shortly. Rick Moranis apparently was around here. He said, "Look, honey, I shrunk the kids. How you doing, Buck?"
Well, I'm great. Give me a minute, Jack. Take a picture, get it?
So he got his Cylon.
Introduce who you are, since we're live on broadcast.
Tell him.
No.
Hey, there was no boo-boo face on work benches.
No.
Right.
Frustrated.
Miss, we can go to somebody else because I just took some pictures of something I've done. Still work in progress, but I want to be able to show you guys. And well, hey guys, it's the usual suspects.
Yeah, it's the usual suspects.
Yeah.
What are you up to?
Oh well, I'll load these up, but back off.
Yeah. Well, we were just talking about those.
Yeah. So you saw the 170, and I got to get the Vipers, both Mark 2s and 7s. And I'll post a picture so you guys can see the paint better.
Mm-hmm.
Got them painted. We talked last night, Jack. You saw the primer. So got them all painted up. I still got to do some detail work, but basically they are painted with Tamiya gunmetal. And then I went over with Tamiya black panel accent. And I just basically washed the whole damn kit with it. And I was going to go back through and strip it and leave the panel lines. But once I upload the pictures and get your guys' opinion, I think just leaving the whole wash on the kit's going to be great. And then just got to do the little Cylon eye and a little couple of details. These 172nd builds from the 48-hour build are going to be done.
Oh, cool. You know, the Mark II kit with a pair is on special sale at Paul TV Man. So they sell out. It's going to be $12 a kit.
Oh my!
Yeah, I bought a couple of
Battery.
what was it? The Lost in Space the space pod, the Mobius space pod, or not Mobius, the other company, Polar Light.
Well,
I think it was, but they had that model on one of those $12 sales, so I bought 2 of them, and they're sitting in the stash room waiting for me to die. So,
so
Not for another 20 years.
So you got a lot done on your 48-hour hangout, is what it sounds like.
yeah, you know, it was fun. I would definitely say I had a lot of fun on my first 48-hour hangout. Went through a 12-pack of beer and 48-hour hangout.
I got close. I think my 12-pack got to about 10. But then again, I was drinking, what do you call it? IPAs, which are a little heavier than the alcohol, too.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, I'm not as cool as you, Jack.
No, I'm not. No, that's not true. I'm a bigger lush.
All right, so let's see.
Let's see what.
Well, sorry, I'm uploading the pictures for you guys to see. So.
Oh, okay. We'll get back to you. Is that okay?
Would you please?
Okay, very good. He was very serious about that. Good golly. This is the Facebook community, and I just picked them today. I was supposed to do that a couple days ago, actually. This is a Chevy SS Chevelle. That's what I was trying to say. And this is a community cover. This is by, who is this by? It's by Gino, I guess. Gino Iset or Iset. I think it's probably Iset. And that's you can guess why I picked it because of all the detail that he put into it. He cabled it. He made it look very nice and clean. It's actually a very, very cool build. And thank you, Gino, for posting. And moving on, how you doing, Jim?
I'm doing fine there, Jack. Yeah, well, from the 48-hour hangout.
Have you recovered, Jim? You look a little more awake.
Oh, I'm a lot more awake, especially after. It took me about 3 days to recover from it. But yeah, finished the Gundam on the weekend, and got that done, which I can show better. Where are we hanging? From here. Yeah. It went together pretty good.
without too many issues. The only thing I really had to glue was these two front vents because they just wouldn't stay on. Other than that, everything else just snap fit together.
Mm-hmm. Very cool.
I might want to go back in and detail up this gun at some point. Other than that, I don't know, it's a fairly fun little kit to throw together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I may want to try one of the larger kits. Probably upcoming season, but we'll see.
Oh, really? You want to do?
Well,
something?
I've got a larger one here. I've got a Gundam Rise 2 kit I've had on the shelf for a couple of years, so I've got that to build.
Mm-hmm.
That's a larger one with a integral frame in that to build up. So that's that part. And of course, I've been working on the on my lifeboat.
You planking yet?
Pardon?
You getting the planks on yet?
Oh, I'm just going to show you here.
Oh,
So, got the thing. I got the other side planking put on this afternoon. Shaped and planking. It's still under clamps while it's drying.
Hmm.
But it's coming along. It's actually finding it quite easy to bend. A little more easier than I thought it was going to be.
Not only a bend, but a twist on it as well.
Pardon?
Not only a bend, but a twist on it as well.
Yeah. Yeah, this one's the most drastic. It's got the most drastic curve in it. Is this this keel this planking the keel by the keel planking? This is the one with the most drastic bend in it. The others are more or less curved down towards the bow after this one, but this one's the most complex one. And the hardest one to get fitted too, because I'm going to have to shape it more like there's excess planking going beyond the bow and stern. That's got to be cut back and shaped, then feathered out so it fits flat against the stern and bow board. And along the edges here, I've got to bevel the plank where it goes up against the keel board so it sits flush. Because right now it's like a square plank on an angle towards the keel board, so there's a definite gap. So it needs to be planed and then fitted. Then get glued in. Once this is in and glued in place, and I can start the next next plank.
nice.
I found out that I was just reading there just ahead there just this afternoon, and the next plank has to go in with 2 millimeters in from the edge. So these are 7 millimeters wide. So it's got a 5 millimeter, and it just so happens I've got a nice piece of scrap here that's exactly 5 mils. So I can use that as a spacer to run the next plank up with. So that'll make that easier, rather than marking the 2 mil in on the plank, because this is all clinker built, which means that each of the planks are overlapping as opposed to butt against.
Wow, that's actually a pretty big box for what you end up with.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's a lot of air in that box.
Because we have to fit all the sheets that the pieces come in.
Well, that was the nice thing, is they were all laser cut. There's only like little tabs to cut free. and then the pieces come out. So didn't have to cut all the ribs out, which is nicer. I was kind of expecting to have to do more cutting with the plywood, but no, it's all laser cut all the way through, except for simple little ties that hold it in. You can sort of see it a bit here on the blank over here, but there's just thin. They're probably half a mil wide pieces of the plywood to go to gates that you just had to cut through, which are really easy. You more or less just have to tick them on both sides, and the panel just comes straight out. So that made that part easier.
Mm. Yeah, what made you decide to pick that kit?
Well, I've never really built a wood ship kit before. So before I tackled anything larger, I figured this was a lot simpler, and to learn a lot of the techniques with this kit would be a lot better than tackling a real major build. So that's the advantages, I think, to this kit. Plus, this kit wasn't that expensive. You know, it's only like about, it's about $70 for the kit, so it's not that bad.
7D.
7D.
Holy, that's not bad.
No, not for a wood kit.
Not for a wood kit, no.
Wow. Okay.
Usually
so
they're like 150 and up. So
you're picking it because it'd be easier than getting your feet really wet then.
Yeah.
So, well, and I know those kits could be hundreds, and I've even seen kits for a couple $1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. That talk about anxiety putting that together.
Well, basically, what you're saying, Jim, is you're gonna build a bigger boat and then send it to Randall to do all the rigging, right?
Randall enjoys the rigging so much. I kind of hung out with him this afternoon while he was rigging. He looked like he was in Nirvana. Either that or very numb. One of the two. I
don't know about that, but yeah.
It was scotch, Jack. It was scotch.
A lot of concentration was required.
You start building something like a ship of the line, and you start doing all the rigging on that. That's a whole master class in itself, just doing the rigging on something like that.
So you said that you picked this because it's simpler, but how is it challenging your ability?
How is it challenging my abilities? Well, it's learning how to bend the wood. It's not the same as working with balsa in that, so it's a little more challenging in that. Then I have to shape it, but it definitely challenges you on your patience, because nothing happens in a big hurry on this.
Right.
So it's just like I put that last piece on to shape to dry after it's been bent, and now I got to wait till like tomorrow before it's fully dried out, that I can pull it off and then start feathering it and shaping it. So
now, hey Jim, do you have to steam that? Since you said it
no, I use what is what I got here. I fill this with I boil water in a kettle, and that's boiling water in a metal cup. And all you do is just stick it in, because I don't have to do the whole plank, because it's only like about 3 inches at the end where it's all doing all the bending. So I only have to dip it in that part where the bending is. I don't have to do the whole plank.
Okay.
But even most of the planking on the side, this will bend perfectly good enough.
Oh, wow.
Most of it, except for near the bow and the stern, I'll have to wet bend those. But a lot of it, it'll bend without having to wet bend it. So.
Yeah, because I know when they were building those ships to get the planks to mold to the ribbing, it was all steam processed. I didn't know if that kind of translated into.
Well, you can do steaming. With model shipbuilding, there's steaming. There's also wet heat building. In other words, what you do is you wet the board, and then you have an iron. it's a weird kind of it's a bending iron. It kind of looks like an airfoil.
Okay.
It ends up, if it's a heated iron, but the shape of it is like that of an airfoil on a wing. That's so you can get tight bends, and you've got two surfaces to do shallow bends, and then you got two tighter bends, the front and the back, that you could use to shape through. That's a lot faster than this method, but
not as enjoyable.
Well, no, it's not that. If I build this, that might be, who knows when I ever start another wood ship build, to spend $150, $160 for a specialized iron for that to do is not quite practical.
Well, you still can use an iron, couldn't you?
No, it needs to be a round iron.
A round iron. What's that?
Well, it's got to be bare. The minimum you need is you can buy a cheaper bending iron, which is basically like a soldering iron, but it's got a barrel and tip on it. Then you have to clamp that down in order to do it. Or you spend $50, $60 more and you buy this bending iron. And it's kind of heavy and sits on your desk, clamps down. So then you can work it on that.
Hold on a second. I mean, go ahead. I've got to grab it.
Yeah. So you can't use a flat iron. The flat iron won't work. So you need a round iron to do it.
Interesting. Okay. Cool beans. Because I've seen them working with furniture, and you know how they have those chairs that have this
scroll
squiggly.
Yeah.
And they got a bendy, and they use these. Oh gosh, I'm not even sure but they have steam just.
Yeah, if you're doing furniture work for bending, they have a bending bench that's for that, and it's basically got a copper or bronze pipe in it that you boil and they have steam going through it, and that's for viewing huge pieces of wood for bending and for that. They use a similar type device for making canoes and stuff like that too. But yeah, but that's major.
This is one kind of bending iron that he's talking about that clamps down.
Yeah.
You know, you clamp it down and you plug it in, and this is solid aluminum with the heating core running through it.
Yeah.
And it's got the different, it's got a flat side, a rounded side, a more rounded, and then a very
narrow one. Yeah.
Narrow one. And that's what this is designed for, is you like Jim said, you clamp this to your bench, and then you plug it in, and when it gets hot, you take the wood, get it wet, and when you press it on here, steam just comes flying off, and you're sure that the wood's going to catch on fire. But what I like about using these kind of things is that when it's done bending, it's pretty much dry.
Yeah.
So
you don't have to wait for it to dry. Yeah.
You can glue it on right away. But yeah, I got this iron from China earlier this year, and yeah, they were normally $50-$60 or something like this. I found one for $20 with $20 shipping. So
no savings there. Yeah.
They had not really a lot of savings, but it's a company I'd worked with before, and I got it in a week and a half. So
yeah,
I couldn't complain, and it works great. But I don't build ships, but I do a lot of wood building or wood bending and stuff with other things. So,
well, it's the same thing could be said about styrene too. Apply some even heat. Sometimes even just hot water would do the job in taking the warp out of styrene parts. But I think you'll probably need heat that's a little more intense if it's resin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So would you say that for the wood is at the most intense heat? Because
Well, you need a really intense heat for the wood, because you got to be really careful, because I think on that iron, if you weren't careful, you'd leave skin behind, I think, on it.
Yeah.
Hey, when aren't we building if there's no blood in the kit?
Well, you haven't done the kit properly unless you left some of yourself in it.
Yeah.
very, 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 very true.
Not so much that modeling is in our DNA as our DNA is in our
In the models, yeah.
I can't be an organ donor because I'm a scale modeler.
Oh, so that's how I get out of organ donating. I better go down to the DMV and tell them, hey guys, I'm sorry, I'm a scale modeler.
Yeah.
Things are crap.
like those movies or something where a violinist gets a hand replaced, and the hand originally came from some murderer.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden the violinist is taking on the murder. That's what'll happen to the person if they get Jack's blood or my blood or.
Yeah, that's an insatiable need to sniff glue.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Would that be it there, Jim?
That's pretty much it where I'm at right now. Anyway, yeah.
I thought we got that horse beaten well down.
Yeah.
Good. So here's Yoshifumi Ishikawa, a member from Japan. This is actually, I think Buck said, is that Phil's? Phil from England. That's it. No, that's Yoshi. So we got this as community cover for the MeWe community. So this is a little more full bodied here, this picture. It's really interesting because I know what the style that's being used here by this modeler, and if this model was shown to me, not knowing the name, I would say, yes, that's Yoshifumi Ishikawa. Yeah. Because it just, he has got a style here that's very much his, and that's what I particularly like about this particular build, because it's so him, so to speak. Okay, next usual suspect. How you doing, Jay? How was? Did you enjoy the? Hey, you know what? The 48 hours, the most I've seen you all year.
Well, yeah. I was there actually for quite a while. Give me a break.
Yeah, you were. I am giving you that break.
Yeah, I'm doing good. I've been building props lately. A lot of props. I'm building over there somewhere. 3 different versions of the next generation tricorder. I don't have any pictures of it right now, but there's 3 different tricorders. They're all the same, similar design, but you know there are pretty significant differences, and they're going to be lighted. And I don't know about making sound. I don't care for models that make sounds, but sometimes that's what people want. And you know, all the lighting will be correct. When you press the buttons, it will do different things. And on 2 of them, instead of putting in like a graphic with lights behind it, which is what they used in the show, I'm actually putting a miniature video screen in there running to a very small video processor, and so it will be able to, when you press different buttons, it'll skip to different, you know, moving graphics on the screen, or you know, even videos of you know, different. I can put videos of different communications or something like that on there. So I'm coming along with it. The phaser, I'm taking the next the original movie phaser, which is the Star Trek the Motion Picture movie phaser. Took it apart because this is a pretty accurate model, but there are some differences that need to be changed. So I'm going in and changing them. And once this is completely finished, it modified the board that goes up on the top in here, and it's going to have lighted buttons and everything behind it. I might even make them with contact switches, which is what the original was supposed to have. And what I'm trying to do is recreate the original prop, not necessarily recreate a cosplay thing so that people can, you know, carry it and use it as an identifiable thing. I want to recreate the original movie prop. And so one of the things, you know, people know that about here there's separation, and this front part comes off and is phaser 1, and then it clips into this to become phaser 2. But the original model did not separate. The original prop didn't separate. It did have a line scored into the fiberglass around here to make it look like it had a separatable part on the front, but it actually could not do it. I've got pictures and a couple of blueprints from Brick Price Studio, who made the original model of the tricorder. So it's fun to compare and fun to modify. What I will probably do is, once this is completely finished and perfect in my mind of what the thing looks like, I'm going to mold it and then make fiberglass, use fiberglass to make copies of it, so they'll be, you know, as exact as possible. So that's it. I've been busy.
Well, just want to bring up the top chat here. Jamie says that he couldn't make it on. He was on short for a very short period. Has connection problems, he says. Yeah, okay. George and Mark Dunmore had a conversation about a build of Mark's. I'm not sure what this is. Maybe Ushka or Aushka from the Evangelion anime.
Evangelion.
Yeah.
Oh, Asuka.
Yeah.
Asuka. Okay. Yeah, even Mark agrees that there needs to be blood sacrifices in the models. But there was one question I did propose. Jay, so who has more toys, you or Jim?
Oh boy.
Who has?
I don't know everything. I don't know everything that Jim has, but I do have an awful lot of toys.
Yeah, I got quite a few too.
If I die, I win. You know, so I've got an awful lot of toys. I don't know how many Jim has, but I think a lot of Jim's toys are cooler than mine.
Well, you know, he's got you know, shortwave radio there sitting behind him, so you know.
Yeah, you know, that's the kind of thing. You know, I'm sitting here like, well, hey, I've got a plastic phaser, and he goes, oh, cool, I've got one made out of aluminum that really blows up things. You know, so I don't know.
Oh, Jim's cycling the camera.
There it is.
Well, hey, hold it. Don't get too cocky.
For like all my test equipment.
Oh, there's Jay. He's got that too.
Important.
Oh yes, of course.
Oh, there we go.
And Jim's got more going on over there.
Yeah.
What's that, a signal generator?
Yeah, that's an RF signal generator.
Oh. Yeah, I have some smaller.
And
some smaller
digital
that I use.
universal counter. And a waveform generator up there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because we all
This
need
is
one of those on our
what I
back.
use. This is the one I use. So it's cheaper, but it works. So it does what I need.
You know what I like to watch is
And my bench DVM here.
Yeah, I like. There's a nice card there too.
It's official.
What I
Jim
like
wins.
is what I enjoy watching is two guys having a pissing contest, but it makes it extra special when they're over 50.
Oh crap! Drugs
Hey,
I'm on. I'm
hey.
Yes, dear.
On the phaser, is that actually from Wrath of Khan? Because I don't remember seeing one.
No, the Wrath of Khan phaser did separate, but they didn't do it in the movie. It's a different color. The lighting and everything up here is all the same. On this one, there's like red, green, blue, and yellow lights.
Okay, because
and they twinkle and stuff, for some reason. But on the Wrath of Khan phaser, it also the trigger is different. Get up here. This I'll use this side. It'll fit better on this side. This is the trigger mechanism for the original phaser. It looked like that. It barely moved, but there's a very small micro switch behind it. The Wrath of Khan phaser, and I've got one upstairs, but I'm not going to run upstairs. They just glued this whole piece in, cut a hole in it, and put a push button for the zapping. They also, for some reason, put a little strip of that rainbow where it changes color when you look at it, and different angle, different light. They put a strip of that stuff down each side for some dumbass. Those are the main differences. There are differences that are very noticeable between the two.
Okay, I gotta go back and watch the motion picture again because I don't remember seeing them ever pull a phaser out in the first one.
They didn't. They never did. But you did see people walking around with it on their hip.
Belt. Yeah.
Even though they're not a military organization, Starfleet still carried on.
Yeah.
I think there were two scenes in motion picture. The ship security guys had their phasers drawn, but they weren't. They were like in the background. They weren't.
Yeah, and another thing too is this was not the phaser was not put into a holster. They actually have right at this square. They have this ugly little belt clip that comes out and it lays against it, so it just clips onto your belt like this. You can draw it, and I can see that being fine for somebody who stands around all day.
If you're moving around, guarantee you.
If you move around, you're going to bump it. It's going to come off.
I know what those clips are like. I used to have one on one of my cell phone cases, and it fell off all the time.
Yeah, and I don't think dropping a phaser is a good idea.
Well,
what always bugged me about those phasers was that none of them ever had a trigger guard.
They got rid of the trigger guards on all of the Starfleet phasers. They've never had one, I don't think, with a trigger guard.
I don't think they ever had one. That is true. And I'd like to dare you to wear one of those in the shopping mall when you go Christmas shopping.
One of these?
Airport security.
we tried to get into a mall wearing our full Ghostbusters outfits. We had outfits that when we were dressed up, it looked like we were walking onto the set of the movie. They were that accurate. Mm-hmm. And we were told immediately, you can't come in here like that. Why?
All carrying a small nuclear reactor on our back.
Yeah, and so they wanted to know what that thing on my back was, and I told them it's a prop. But they said we can't come in like that, and I said that we were how did I put it? We were going into what was the place? We were going into Hot Topic because they're doing Ghostbusters promotions and stuff.
Right. And
the way I put it made it sound a little bit like we were invited, but I never actually said that. So
yeah.
So we went into Hot Topic, walked around, shot a little bit of video. We're told, no, you can't shoot video in here. And our camera person just pretended to shut the camera off. All she did was cover the cover the red light with her finger, and kept shooting video. And then we stepped outside the store, and we were shooting. And they came up again and said, "You can't shoot video in here." I said, "We're not in there. We're outside. We are outside of the store. We are not in there." So, I love wearing costumes to the mall and stuff, but.
Well, I just want to give you some unpaid advertising here. Hint, hint. No, you paid me already. I was just gonna. If you want a piece of J, you can order a piece of J off of the internet. This is his actorizing parts for a USS Defiant model kit. And he was kind enough to send me a set of it, and I'll probably, get through it all without the instructions, but that's okay, Jay. We're modeling. We can figure it out.
Should I make some instructions for it? Because did I make it too complex?
Well, there's a lot of like, what's this ribbon here?
That goes over the front of the Bassard collectors on the front of the engine.
Okay, Jay, I'm still waiting on that.
On the strip?
Ooh.
On the the aluminum.
I sent you I sent you the grills. You haven't gotten them yet?
No, sir.
Okay. I'll send a new set out. I've still got your address. I'll send a new set out tomorrow because I'm shipping a lot of stuff tomorrow.
Okay. Well,
I've been putting things up on eBay and been doing reasonably well. So I'm gonna
amazing.
Yeah, and I don't want to give the price away in the broadcast, but it is reasonable. So if you do have a Defiant kit, let me.
If you want one,
if you're a Star Trek modeler, you know what the Defiant kit is. Okay, it's the snap kit that never really snapped. So it's for that.
420 scale. It snapped.
Well, it was. Well, I have the new pop too, which is before they broke the mold on it. But the original kit says snap.
Okay, do we actually snap anything together? I mean, us models.
Well, no, this is certainly not a snap kit. I mean, you can put the two halves together, but they're not going to stay together.
Hey, okay, Jack, we can talk personally because I need one of those too.
Oh, you need one of those too. Boy, you got a lot of needs there, mister.
I have teenagers. What do you expect?
Oh, that's true. That's true. All right. Well, that's that. I got a lot of those, but anyhow, moving on. Jay disappeared, and we're going to Randall. How you doing, Randall?
I'm on the computer right now.
Okay.
Well, there you go. Not too bad, Jack. Not much progress on my B wing from yesterday.
Yeah.
Touching up paint here and there, adding a few extra details and bits and pieces to it. You mentioned rigging earlier on. I spent a while damn it, can't even pick. Is that thin?
He just snapped all the rope.
I wish. Yeah. I've been taking glasses on to actually see this. Excuse me. Yeah, been taking thin strands of wire like this. If you can see them there.
Oh, there we go.
Okay. Right. And I have been twisting them around the sort of like the butt end of a 0.4 millimeter drill to make eyelets for turnbuckles. This is where I really need to get close to the camera or get somehow get some sort of focus on it. Here we go. Was that focusing?
Close enough.
Yeah.
Oh. It's quite a stretch for reaching over to that camera there. Yeah, I need at least 24 of these. Just to make anchor points for the rigging in this biplane. I haven't even got as far as putting the thing together yet. As I was saying earlier, when you're building a biplane kit, essentially you have to build the whole thing in sub-assemblies and that includes the deckling and the final, any other kit would be sort of like, the final details and finishing and what have you. Then you have to try and bring it all together without ruining the finish. Which, given that this has 2, 4, 6, 8 struts to be added to the wings and the fuselage before you bring the upper wing to it, it's going to be fun. But fortunately, I have.
Okay, rigging is fun.
Well, the rigging will be, yeah. Okay, I've got this device here. This is one of my toys, and hopefully you get the wings like that secured, and then you can put the struts between the wings. At least that's the theory. So you get all the angles right. Did anybody see anything?
Yes.
Oh, good. Everybody got so quiet. I thought maybe
Yeah.
my.
You're talking to yourself.
Phew. That's pretty much where I've got to so far.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty much it.
That's it.
Okay, I just want to make mention that I'm just following along with a live chat here. Sean McClure also showed up and is currently chatting away with George. So I went to Sean's Facebook page, and I did find something there that I wasn't going to show this, but I'm going to show this anyway because this kit is like really hard to find, and when you do find it, I think you would be more inclined to do favors to get the kit instead of paying money for it because it's so expensive for what it is. Sean, if you're watching this, this is really awesome. It's a glow in a dark kit. Glow in a dark kit.
Oh yeah.
And I don't like this kit it looks like a shampoo bottle, but I do like the bottom end of that ship. And boy, you did awesome justice to that. I just thought I would show that because you're talking to George about you're building a base out of wood for a other build you're doing, and I run across this and I thought I'd show everybody. This is awesome. Don't you agree there, Buck?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Don't you want to do something like that?
Oh, I'm salivating right now because yes, I would. I just love the lighting in the shuttle bay there.
I
mean, that's
yeah. You're welcome, Sean. He thanked that I showed it, but I had to. It was that good.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal build. I mean, amazing work, Sean. I love it. I mean, I don't know. Wait a second. I got to decide which teenager I got to give up for that kit.
Which of the teenagers you got to give up with the kit? Did you see this, Jay?
Yes, I have built that kit, and I do have one other one that I haven't built yet. It is kind of an ugly ship, but two things about it. That is the original design for that ship was called the Leif Erikson. And it was used basically as the spaceship, the Earth spaceship in the Larry Niven, or anyway, it was the book was The Moten God's Eye, and that was basically the spaceship design that they had. It was inspired by it, and that was designed by the same people that designed the Enterprise and the Star Trek ships.
Well,
And one thing about it is that it was in an inverted, turn it upside down and do a little tiny bit of modification on it. It was a proposed Earth spaceship for a War of the Worlds sequel. It was going to be a television series, and obviously it was never done, but but Franz Joseph and other people worked on that. By the way, I just want to show you something, Buck. Okay,
Hold on.
in there. They're in the
Oh,
box.
you are the man,
They're in the box,
the legend.
and it will go in the mail tomorrow. So mailbox, half a block down the street. So
Now you need a kit too, don't you? You need a kit to put
that's
that.
what I got you for, Jack.
Before you showed up, I had a nickname. It was called 2 or More Kit Jack.
All right.
It's called 2 or more kits for me to make a build, to do a build.
So would you guys like to see my 172nd Cylon Raiders that I've been working? I got screen share ready. So
well, if it can outdo the Leif Erikson ship, sure you can show them.
all right, hold on. I don't know if I can outdo that build, man. That's some superb lighting, but
well, yeah, I asked him if it's a glow-in-the-dark kit. I said, did you leave any surface unpainted? He said, actually, the little vents are not painted, and I think I know what he means.
all right. So this was after me and you got done talking last night, Jack. I went ahead and did a primer. I did the shadowing, and then I did the primary coat.
That's pretty cool.
And I need your guys' opinion because I still got to do some dry brushing, but this is with the gloss coat.
Ooh.
And this is after I've done the Tamiya panel lining. And like I said, I did the whole kit. I just covered the whole kit because it just looked phenomenal. My question for the family is, should I just, once I get done dry brushing some black pastels for the guns and the engines, should I go ahead and do a gloss clear coat again, or should I do a matte coat?
No, you do a gloss.
Okay.
Gloss. It looks much more sinister when it's like oily, greasy, ugly.
Okay. Yes, there is the planet right there, which is the cat destroying my Christmas tree.
Yeah.
And there you go. And yes, I had to, represent the group, but yeah, so that's the 4 I took, but I'm sorry if it fades out. I don't know if you can tell the detail. I'm going to take better photos when I get it all done, but I wanted to ask your guys' opinion if I should go with a gloss coat or a matte coat.
It should be definitely gloss.
I think that's the best picture right there of it. So,
beautiful.
And now I have to go and get the 172nd Mark II and Mark 7s. A whole diorama build of a fighter intercept. Because that's just who I am.
That's just who you are. Yeah, I made a suggestion to you, but I don't think your family took too kindly to it.
Oh, dude, go ahead. They're listening.
Oh, they are? Well, you had a paint booth. Now you've got something there for the cat to destroy. It doesn't make any sense to put a Christmas tree up when a cat is a plaything to the cat. And
well, here's the funny thing. The 3 older cats we have, they just like to lay on the tree skirt under the tree. The younger rescue decides, oh, damn, it's a tree. I got to climb it. And
well, it's like you, it's a kit, and you got to build it.
Yes. I love him to death, but he did get booted in the ass this morning when I caught him in the middle of the tree. And the angel's on the floor, half the ornaments are on the floor, and he's looking at me, and seriously, it's like right at the middle of the tree. It's a fake tree, and the bottom half is all laid down from him climbing around and laying down like a deer. And he's in the middle of the tree, and he's looking at me going, yeah, what are you going to do? So what I did is I picked him up, I put him on the floor, and I put my foot in his ass. So guess what he did after we fixed the tree?
What's that?
Hey, fact.
he went back to the tree and goes, "Yeah, what I'm gonna do now?"
But you know something, I have a suspicion that your ornaments are plastic. Remember when you were a kid, they were made of glass. When they hit a hard floor, they popped.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, Home Alone. My kids like during the holiday season. I go through the Christmas Story. I go through Home Alone 1 and 2. It's a Wonderful Life. It's A White Christmas. I mean, you know, I go through those nostalgic films because that's what I grew up on. And my kids go, "Dad, is that why we don't have glass ornaments?" Home Alone. I go, yeah, you know, they'd be great for a burglar, but yeah, we have cats, so no. They sparkle, they shine, they twinkle. Yeah, no, we're not doing that with cats because it's like a fishing lure.
Yeah.
I'm lucky. My cat just looks at the tree, looks back at me as if to say, "I wouldn't have done it that way," and then walks on.
Well, you know, when I did a survey, hands down, cats were a lot more popular for scale modelers than any other pet.
We talked about that last week, didn't it?
And yeah, well, yeah, and Jay's the only one who has rats for pets, so that's the antithesis of having a cat.
Yeah, you can keep them caged up. You don't have to let them out.
Right, right.
They run around. They come out and run around a lot. Deanne's upstairs with them right now, running around. So
I remember those bulbs too. George even said because you know it probably took about 20 amps to light a tree back in the day because they were all the 4-watt nightlight lights, and they got awfully hot. Like I remember when those got hot, and it was really interesting too because when I was a kid, we used to have a real tree every single year, and we were only allowed to have the tree on for an hour or two every day because any other time it had to be off because it got too hot, and my mom was always afraid it'd catch fire.
So my wife finally understands why I light model kits. I had to repair the lighting on the tree tonight because the little shit chewed through the cable. And granted, you know, I have my shrink tubing, and you know, so I said, okay, I went with my wire stuff, and I fixed the lighting, and I shrink tubed it and tested it, you know, like us modelers do, you know, tested it before I shrink tubed it. And I said, see, it pays off. All my electrical work pays off on my model kits. I fixed the tree.
It's really interesting because I was just thinking, what does destructive cats have anything to do with scale modeling? Well, there you go. You know how you shrink tubing because of your modeling.
And it's a pre-lit tree.
And it's a oh, gee.
Oh, I got one of those. Yeah.
You know, I love the animals, but this little guy is about to find out that I'm going to send him to a Chinese restaurant.
Getting back to some kits here. Okay, guys, what is it?
That is an AC-130 gunship.
A what?
AC-130 gunship.
Yeah.
Bring the rain, brother. Bring the rain.
I could not imagine any better background than this guy has on him.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That is a really nice
how many guys? All right.
Here, this is interesting here. Now, look at it pretty closely here. It's sitting on a block of styrofoam. Toothpicks are holding it up. He's probably having it dry. He's just having it set on something. Oh, look at that. Oh, gee Louise. That kind of work.
Yeah, that's Puff's grandson. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Puff the Magic Dragon.
Yeah.
Being an infantry soldier and serving in an active theater, I call this, you know, we call this gunship a lot of times for close air support. He did justice. Great looking model kit.
You do not want to be in the receiving end.
I hope he's listening from a former grunt, a prior grunt. Dude, thank you. That is a great looking kit.
Oh, hi, Bob. Bob is on his lunch at work. Hi, Bob.
Bob!
So,
Hello, Bob.
at your
Really on your launch, or are you just hiding in a back room saying, "I'm here"?
yeah. Well, I talked to you last night, there, Buck, for I think it may have been at least an hour and a half. I don't know.
I think we went 2, and then you said, "I'm going to bed." And
Yeah, and I ended up watching TV an hour, but that's what put me to sleep finally. But no, it actually didn't. I had to get up early. I didn't get really to sleep until 3. So
oh well, I told my kids, like I was telling you last night, it's like, yeah, I got to go to church, and we talked for a while, and then I got into the Big Bang Theory, and I went to bed about 2:30 and woke up about 7.
Yeah. I've been having a lot of trouble sleeping lately. I don't know why, but I mean, it's not unusual for me to be down here working until 2 or 3 in the morning, and then I get up and go to bed, and then I lay there for another 2 hours.
yeah,
waiting to fall.
Damn, I should have done this. I should have done that. I should have.
Yeah. I can't turn my brain off is the problem. I'm just
well, thing is,
const-
the reason I brought it up is because I want to show what I'm full. When I got this, I started it, and there's a couple pieces that are missing from my kit, and I don't know why, but that's my life. I buy a kit, and there's parts missing. It's guaranteed that I'll either lose it, the carpet monster eats it, or whatever. I don't remember. I think I started this downstairs when I had my workshop.
In the basement.
Down there, and it was a very small space. I came up here, I had the same amount of space. I even took a picture, I found that picture on my computer, how small the space I had. Now they got this luxuriously large workbench. I can actually, well, it's not here because I was priming it today, and it's downstairs in the basement drying. So whenever I'm going to paint this and then assemble it, and et cetera, et cetera. I have the Aztec dummies for these from Lou. And I'm going to be doing that too for the first time. So this is going to be an exciting. I got this started, few pieces together. Basically, the outer wall on the saucer is all I got done as far as gluing goes. But I talking to Buck, I decided to pull it out. He wants my other kit, which is right there.
Yep.
That'll be on its way after Christmas. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing. And maybe next time in the next couple of weeks, you'll see me working on this kit. This is the biggest kit I've ever worked. Will be working on. I think that the biggest upstairs part was the Millennium Falcon. Huh?
Sorry, Jack. Did you decide to do it in 3 parts like we talked about?
I'm going to paint.
Well, do the nacelles and pylon separate, and then do the saucer section for the paint. Build it all up, light it all up, and then do the paint.
Well, I can't do the paint last because I have clear window inserts.
Yeah, but didn't Lou, with the Aztec decals, provide covers for the clear parts?
No.
Oh, what the hell?
I found them today. I did find them today. I thought I lost them, but oddly enough, there was one place I hadn't looked and hadn't turned over since my reconstruction here. So it was in a drawer, and it was like right on the top of the stuff that was in this drawer. So I did find the masks. I'm glad I did. But no, I'm.
I thought he usually cut the windows for those.
No.
Oh shit.
No, I looked through the sheets. There's nothing there. The windows are just round little dots. But having looked at the way Lou builds things, he does a lot of. He has done a lot of painting before he actually does a final assembly. Like the D that he's doing, I'm sure he's going to do a lot of the painting before he does a final assembly.
God, I hope so, because that thing's huge.
It's huge, yes. So this way of approaching it, I've never done it this way, and I think I don't know. I think it'd be hard to paint once it's all assembled. It really would be.
Yeah, well, we were talking about the joints last night from the pylon section to the saucer section.
Yes.
And I just think if you put those two together and then try to paint it, you're going to get breakage. You know, so I mean, do the nacelles and the pylon as one subassembly and paint that, and then the saucer section another subassembly, and then and paint that, and then put it together and do the touch up. But I mean,
Well, what's great about this kit is the parts. There's no seam work really in this kit. I was even struggling to find them on the nacelles. The nacelle, it's the two halves are designed in a way, at least the ship is designed in a way that the seams can be hidden in plain view. So there's no real seam work on this. That's why I'm deciding it to go this way.
well, dude, I mean, yeah, awesome. I can't wait to do my build when I get it next year.
For some ironic reason, I've been rewatching Enterprise. I didn't watch the whole series when it was originally on, but for some reason I just started watching it on Netflix, and I'm of the opinion that it's a better series than a lot of people give it credit for.
Oh, it's an awesome series.
Oh,
Yeah. You know, the phasers in that they had designed the phasers or phase pistols, and built the models, and they were pretty expensive to build those. But when the toy came out, it was so close to the actual phase pistols that they made. They bought a bunch of the toys and repainted them so they'd be accurate. And from about season 2 on, almost every phaser you see someone carrying is one of the toys.
Oh,
that's been repainted.
The only thing I got to say about the series, it was a great series all the way up, but the series finale.
A lot of people complain about that. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't have a problem with that, but I can see where people would. But I don't know why people assume that meant the whole series was just a recreation by the replicator.
I never thought it was a recreation. I just thought they could have done a better job.
It had things in it I didn't like too, like with Trip dying, and
they did a lot of things at the end of that series, which was done deliberately because they hadn't originally planned on ending the show when they did, but the studios just told them to end it. So
it's because it was just getting too much. Speaking of which, and one of the things I asked Buck about was there's huge clear parts. So I started sanding my clear parts, Buck.
Awesome.
So that's actually the back side. I wonder if I can do it this way. Turn down the lights. I gotta turn it down even further. There we go.
That's gonna look outstanding.
Nice. So this is 400 grit.
Okay.
Give you a comparison to what a clear one looks like. This one's still on the sprue.
I'd say. Did I show you
I personally think the sanded one looks better because if you're going to light it, it will diffuse the light a lot better than
the clear. I told him if you wanted to give a better effect, besides the sanding, what I've done is shred cotton balls. Give more plasma effect with the sanding. Yep. It gives that dark shadow effect.
Yeah, that sounds wild. I like that. I've got one of those kits I haven't built yet, but kind of looking forward to it. But it's like and the Bassard collectors in the front of the engines do not have lights that spin or anything. They have red, yellow, and orange lights that just kind of pulsate.
Yeah, well, me and Jack were looking at this last night, and we're trying to figure out if they spun or if it was more of a plasma effect.
It was a plasma effect. I've watched that several times for exactly that reason, and they just pulsate. There are a couple of episodes.
They do spin. They do spin and they do pulsate both.
Well, I have not seen them spin. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm just saying I haven't seen them spin, but there are a couple of episodes where they are outside the ship, standing on the saucer, and the engine's like right there behind them. And it's possible that the spin and stuff comes when they're moving. They weren't moving when that was done, so that might have been like an idling thing where there's no spin, but there's just a pulsation. But that could mean that the engines are on, but they're not forming a warp field or anything.
Well, I want to look at it this way, because yes, I'm getting this kit from Jack, and talking with him last night, what I'm going to do with it is I'm going to do the pulsing plasma effect. I like that better. I mean, no offense against TOS with the fans and the spinning, but you know, the only time you see an actual spinning effect, okay, granted you might saw it in Enterprise, but the only time you saw an actual spinning effect was in TOS. Everything else is a pulsating plasma effect.
Yeah.
And you got to think, these are collectors. They're collecting, and they're pulsating. They're not spinning. They're just pulsating and I like that idea. I mean, granted, it's a starship. Yes, you know, there's. Let me quote a great line from Armageddon. 100,000 moving parts built by the cheapest bidder. And yes, this is Starfleet. This is the new world, but the way I like the way JJ did and the way Enterprise did, and even with the new series on CBS, there's no spinning effect. It's an all liquid form effect of the plasma, because that's what it is. It's plasma. It's not just the lights to create the effect. It's actual scientific thinking. This is what we're going to do to create this warp field.
Oh, a dead bat.
Well, this is what I want to show here. Let me get off a buck here and get this started. Let's see. This is just experimentation with lights, and I looked up making pulsating LED circuit. Let's see how well this works. Oh, come on. There we go.
Yeah.
I got the audio off, but that's actually a very large electrolytic capacitor. And that's a 555 timer. There seems to be a lot of jumping around when it comes to the circuitry, but that's not very many parts.
I was going to use this, which is an Arduino Pro Mini.
Here it is.
I was going to use this because it's got outputs that will, it's got a bunch of outputs that you can do the pulsing with.
Yeah.
And you could also have it doing other things like making certain lights blink, or, you know, like in the example of the Enterprise from the motion picture, the up in the front, the dish up in the front, the deflector. Well, yeah, the deflector dish is like an orange color when it's off, or when it's stopped, when the engine, or when the ship is stopped, but it turns into a blue color when it's at warp. And when it comes on, there's a special way that the lights filter on in it and everything. You can do that easily with an Arduino and very, very little programming.
Well, yeah, I did look up. The Arduino would be limited to. I couldn't use Arduino for my build. I couldn't because I used 9 and sometimes 12 volts depending on the build. Arduino doesn't like voltages that high.
Well, yeah, but you can just put a little
further. If I have a whole bunch of LEDs pulsating, for an example, Arduino is not going to handle the wattage.
Well, that if you
use drivers.
If you run the signal out as a driver to sequencer chip or something like that, you don't have to run the power to light them through the Arduino. You can run the power to light them separately. It's not.
Yeah, just use a signal source.
Yeah, it's just as he said, it's a signal source telling the light what to do, but the light's getting power from somewhere else. It's not getting power.
You can use something like a driver chip, which case you put your signal onto the input, and it's got a source voltage on it. So if you want to put it on 12 volts, you can put 12 volts to the source, and then your 5-volt signal from the Arduino goes into the input, and then it'll output driving from because it's optically isolated, and it'll drive your 12-volt signal to your lamps. So,
Yeah.
and they're simple. You can get those as an 8-pin, or as a 16 or a 32-pin chip to do how many ports you want. And they're cheap.
Hey, Brian, I see you got your building partner with you.
Yeah, that's my supervisor. Usually she's not far from me when I'm building something.
All right.
But she's also a...
So I saw your Mark II 172nd builds. I'll finish up my Cylon builds, and I'll send them to you. We can collaborate on diorama.
Cool.
If you think.
That works.
Yeah.
To give more effects,
Who built that?
Ken Skiffington, yesterday we talked about Ken's shuttle in mid-launch and using fiberfill for the exhaust of the rockets.
Okay, that's got to be cotton, right?
Fiberfill has longer strands to it. Cotton is not. Cotton tends to be clumpy, I would think. Fiberfill is something that's more consistent.
Yeah.
That's damn cool. I'm sorry, guys. Forgive my language, but
No, it is. You're right.
No, it's effing cool.
What is it? Is it a dragon or something?
That's a dragon.
it's a dragon, and all right, I may be dating myself here, but I think I'm in good company when I go, that's Excalibur quality right there.
Yeah, well, I think that's from Dragon.
Dragon Slayer?
No, maybe Dragon Slayer. Yeah.
No, that dragon. That's not the dragon from Dragon Slayer. I don't.
What was the one that Sean Connery did the voice of?
That was
the guy who hunted dragons.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking.
Braveheart?
Yeah, I know the movie. It's a lot of fun, but
The one, the Dragon Drago.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what it was?
I think was that Dragonheart?
Dragonheart.
Dragonheart. That's
Dragon. Yeah.
But look
That's
at the placement of that LED. I mean, and the fiber. I mean, it just wow, that pops. That's outstanding. Ken, if you're watching, outstanding.
The guy protecting himself with a shield.
Well, that's why I'm saying that's from Excalibur. I mean, or what was the other movie? The Dragon Slayer or
Dragonheart.
No, not Dragonheart, but it was from the 80s. The guy from Ghostbusters 2.
That was Dragon Slayer. Dragon Slayer.
Was it Dragon Slayer?
Yeah, that was Dragon Slayer. Yeah, because the guy who played the weird guy who was working with Vigo.
Yeah.
He was a lot younger in that movie. But
yeah,
Ken Skiffington is on the chat. He said that's Dragon Slayer.
Okay.
Dragon Slayer. Okay.
Well, Ken,
I don't remember. I don't remember that. That was Dragon Slayer. That was Vermithrax, wasn't it?
Yeah, Vermithrax.
The dragon. Yeah.
Well, Ken, dude, phenomenal lighting work, man. That is.
It's beautiful, anyway. Yeah. Jack.
Yes.
Jack, I don't know if you will use them, but I'm going to send you an Arduino Uno, an Arduino Pro Mini, and a what was it called? A Digispark, which is like a very limited Arduino. It uses the Arduino code and everything, which is free and it's easy to learn. But this only has like 8 outputs. The other two have like 20. So, but I'm going to send these to you, and if you use them, you use them. If you don't, that's fine. But I think once you start using them, you're going to go a little nuts.
Well, hey Jay,
Yes.
if you want to send them to me, I'll use them.
Have you ever used Arduino?
No, but I'll learn damn quick because I need to save money. I got teenagers, brother.
Oh God, yes.
Hey, teenagers is your problem, not ours.
Yeah, where's your Voyager build, Jack?
My Voyager, well, you see, this is very interesting. You would bring this up. I did have a Voyager build. I didn't quite finish it, and then it got spattered with paint. I didn't treat it right, but it is still in one piece. It does light. I don't like the base that I made for it. It's one of my early builds. One of my first early, it was one of my early builds, and it was very successful. I was successful at that too. I will be building Voyager again someday, but it's not on the agenda right now.
All right. So here we go, Jack, with our usual suspects here. The original base for the Enterprise NX-01, because the kit you're building and the kit I'm getting from you doesn't have it. Is there anybody that can do that?
Actually, it's funny. I called somebody, and Liam and Randall showed up, and later Jim. And Liam is going to send me the base of the original pop.
If you didn't hear that, that was my pipe. Yeah.
But you know something, though? All I asked for him, I just wanted a tracing of it, and I would have made it myself. I just needed the tracing because I liked the idea that I saw.
I did too. I mean, that was an amazing lighting job and base for it.
Yeah, I'm not even sure where we saw that. Was that on a video or was that on a picture?
I Googled it, and it was just a pop picture.
It was a picture.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find that effect. And I'm glad we're talking about this because one of the things is about talking of special effects with things, particularly dioramas and kits. Images. Let's go to NX-01. No, 350. 350. NX-01. I don't know if it was a picture.
I thought it was
Video.
I thought it was a picture because we scrolled through quite a few. Because we were looking at the bin in the to the pylons to the nacelles. And Jay disappeared.
I'm
here.
Well, we saw this. This is from Quantum. You know that company. You buy a kit and it's already built. You just
No, that was a really cool base. We were talking about the mirror effect, but it was up because the original base was LED strip taped.
Well, yeah, yeah. But this we went across this too.
And
Come across that.
Oh, I like that.
Use of mirrors is quite frequent.
There's that damn refit nacelle secondary hull we don't like.
You know what? I think that was it had to have been a video. I don't recall that.
I thought it was a picture, brother. Because they're right there.
Well, here's use of the.
Yeah, that's the original base, but it had white LED strip tape around it. Oh, wow, that's cool. Oh, dude, I gotta do my cutaway.
I want to do a cutaway too.
Oh, I got one. I got it last Christmas, but I haven't figured out how I'm gonna do the.
Are you gonna build it as a cutaway or as a complete kit?
I think I'm gonna do it as a cutaway, and I'm gonna use film on the decks.
I'm not finding it.
Oh wow!
Just simply not finding it. I think it had to. I think it might have been a video.
Because it had the LED strip tape because we saw the individual LED lights around it.
This would be applicable to anybody making a diorama or a stand of maybe even an airplane. You can make a silhouette, a top silhouette or a bottom silhouette, however you want to do it.
Yeah.
And display it that way. But a lot, maybe like aircraft, people will do it in action or crashing or in the midst of crashing, that sort of thing. See.
With the cornbread. Go find mom. With the cornbread going.
I don't know where I saw that now.
Well, it was on the Google search engine, but then go find her and tell her.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not finding it, but that's okay, I guess.
But you know what I'm talking about because it really had the old base with the silhouette, and then it had the LED strip tape around it. Actually, looked like the shields from episode 1 or the original movie. Was it around? But we all know the NXL1 didn't have energy shields; it had hull plating.
Yeah.
But like we were showing the past couple of days, lighting effects can be make a build very interesting. It gives us one. It's like this netherworld between RC model railroading and just scale modeling. I think it's this like this really weird place. I think our modeling can come to. So we had just murdered an hour and a half and some couple minutes. So.
Sweet.
We got a package for Buck, in which I added a couple of Arduinos, and I got a package for Jack.
You're
so Jay, you are the man.
Well, I love working with Arduino. It is a lot easier than people think it is, and I really think you'll like it.
I'm still going to tinker with my IC circuits.
Absolutely, absolutely. Those, you know, well, I do things that way too.
Jay, I'm going to tell you, and I know we're live, and Ralph, I love your boards. I love what you do, Ralph, but
don't say it.
Some damn money.
Don't say it. You got teenagers.
I got to save some damn money. And Jack is going to teach me how to do a strobe board. And because, guys, what I do with my lighting boards is I incorporate them into my base. And then wire everything into my ship. Because I think on the base, it's a lot better. And then trying to okay, what am I going to cut out here? Or what am I just wire everything into the base, and I glue the computer board into my base. So me and Jack, we talked quite extensively last night about, yeah, I can save a lot of money as long as Jack's going to teach me.
Well, as long as I'm going to teach you. In fact, there's a couple of websites or actually videos I come across. They'll give you the basics. I'll share them with you whenever you're ready. But all you really need is solder and soldering iron, and you can get it. Well, since you work at Home Depot, get yourself a nice ceramic tile.
Yeah, I do. Also, you know, if you guys have a couple of waffle boards sitting around you're not using,
he's got teenagers. Okay, I want to get this done. I want to thank everybody at the top chat. John Pohl showed up. Ken Skiffington, thank you for your builds. They've been very inspirational this past weekend.
Hi.
Also, there was Sean McClure. I showed you his shampoo bottle build. His Eric Lee,
Leaf
Leif
Eric.
Erikson. Yeah,
Leif Erikson.
Leaf.
Eric Leifson. I didn't sound. So, and I'd like to also thank George, the mayor of the Top Chat, to keep everybody chatting. It was quite a active night over there. Thank you, George. And Bob, thank you for stopping by too. So on and so on. And I'd like to thank Brian. Thank you. And your cat. Thank you for stopping by. And also, there was, who was there earlier? Jamie tried to show up. Thanks, Buck, for stopping by, and the mini-me behind him. Thank you.
Well, he has a question for the team.
Okay.
You know how thin fishing wire is, right? Fishing line, not wire.
Yes.
Yeah.
There, lighting that's thin enough like that.
Yes.
Okay, Dad, you should do that with this. Like
It's called wire wrap wire.
ah,
Jim, next time I build one of these 1/72 scales, they're coming
Yeah.
to you.
Yeah, he's got the people doing rigging for him. Now he's going to have people do electronics for him. Thanks, Jay, for stopping by too. Your input on this is always very valuable. Thank you. And Randall, thank you for talking so much.
You're welcome.
I don't want to start those 2001 builds. Come on, man.
Yeah, you know what? I have the clipper too, and I told him I'm going to build a space station for it. That's about 12 diameter or something, you know. I need a bigger boat.
It's
Yeah?
been a month that those have been in the background of his shot. It's like, all right, when are you going to start building those, brother? Come on.
In the new year.
No.
There is actually a garage kit of the Space Station 5 that
12 feet in diameter.
Not that big, but it looks good. What is it? Fantastic Plastic has it.
Oh, okay.
Buck, I have until the 12th of this month to finish this, because it's going to be entered in a competition for my local Ulster Aviation Society.
Mm-hmm.
And once that's done, then I might get around to the to Discovery here.
You better, because you know what? There's no yellow on the Discovery.
Actually, yes, there is, but very little.
And if I do it as the 2010, there's quite a bit of yellow on it.
Oh yeah, it's covered with sulfur.
You what, brother? Hey, Randall, you send it me. I'll take care of the yellow, and then I'll send it back.
All right. I guess that takes care of that, right, Randall?
Yep.
You've spoken more than you have all show. Thank you for all who has shown up, participating, and everybody's viewing. This community is about you guys. We're going to be here next year again with great builds. Thank you for all your support. There's new members. I want to thank the new subscribers to the channel, and there's plenty of you who just signed up to be a part of this. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I can't believe that finally, after 6 years, there's some traction going on with these Hangouts. And then there's rumors going around that Google's going to end Hangouts.
Yeah.
So just as I get successful and my crew here, my usual suspects get successful, and just as the community does too, yeah, I got to hand
MeWe now for Hangouts.
to high tech, whoever's in charge, you know, those gods of high tech. Anyway, thank you for stopping by. 2 more weeks from now, we're going to have the Across the Pond on Saturday, and 2 weeks from tonight will be the Sunday Hangout. It'll be the last one for this year. Come join us, and we'll see if we can sort of, bring it out of us that we have some holiday spirit. Until then, happy modeling, everyone. Good night.
Good night.
Night.